Sister got pregnant with my ex. Family supported her and threatened me to give up my share of the inheritance. My sister got knocked up by my loser ex. That's the truth. It couldn't have been said in any better way. My ex, 27 male, and I, 24 female, dated for 2 years. Post which I introduced him to my family, my parents, my sister, 19 female, and my brother, 15 male. 5 months later, I discovered him cheating on me and knocking up my sister. I was shattered. It was like a bunch of arrows thrown at me from all directions. I got cheated upon, and that man is going to marry my sister, and I'm going to bump into him for the rest of my life. If you're looking for a context, here's one. My ex and I were in the same college. He was in his senior year while I was in freshman when we started going out. He had dropped out earlier to help his dad set up his business. When things got better, he rejoined. 2 years of dating and 4 years of knowing each other, I took him home. It was all happy and fun. We spent the night at my hometown. We went out to a local bar with my siblings. I didn't notice anything wrong between my sister and my ex. That was 2 years ago. My sister was 17 then. We came back the next day and everything remains normal. My ex and I were not living together. He was living with his brother while I lived with my college friend. That was better than living with my ex because his work involved travel. He also used to travel to his hometown often to oversee his dad's business. I told my parents about this and they freaked out. Mom slapped Rosie hard on her face. She'd always been a troublemaker. She dropped out of school at 14, ran away from home twice at 15, and now got knocked up by her sister's boyfriend at 17. She has not told our parents yet. However, when they got to know, they immediately looked at her for the scan, and it turned out that she was 7 weeks pregnant. She confessed that my ex used to travel twice or thrice a month to meet her, and they used to spend the night at a hotel. The cheating broke my soul. 1, because I got cheated by 2 very important people in my life. 2nd, I was in a serious relationship with my ex. I never had a boyfriend before. I'm quite a studious, boring girl. While my academics benefit me in a lot of aspects, like a full ride at university, it has deprived me of a social life. While I was still processing my heartbreak, my mom told me they were planning a wedding for my sister and my ex. This was another blow to me. I yelled at her that she was still supporting her. She said no matter what, they're not going to abandon her in this condition, and they would be doing everything to cover up her mess. I rolled my eyes and asked her to leave me alone. She said, "I know it hurts you, sweetie, but do we have any other option? We can't get rid of the baby. It's a sin. We can't let the baby grow up as a bastard, can we? We have to get them married. I have spoken to his parents and they are flying down this weekend. She's yet to show, so we can have it in the church instead of a hush-hush city hall wedding." I stood up and started packing my stuff to leave. I can't just stand there and take every BS they were putting up. She stopped me and said, "You can't leave. It's your only sister's wedding." I was aghast. How could she even ask me to attend that whore's wedding who slept with my boyfriend? She said that was in the past. In the present situation, she is my sister and I have to attend her wedding because they don't want to answer people who question my absence. I was like, "Really, Mom? Your teenage daughter got knocked up by her elder sister's boyfriend and you are worried that people are going to question my absence at her wedding? You definitely need to align your priorities." She said she doesn't understand these complexities. In her eyes, my ex is now my sister's would-be husband and the father of her child and my brother-in-law. What the F? It made me sick to the guts. I said I'm not going to give in to her pressure and I'm leaving. She called up Dad and asked him to rush home and knock senses into me. I was about to leave before Dad arrived. I said if I leave, they're going to abandon me and I should never show my face to them even if they die. I said, "Sure, if you're going to support your low-life daughter over me, then I'm cutting you all off from my life too, and they should never contact me either." On the wedding day, a lot of friends and family called and texted me asking why I didn't show up at my sister's wedding. I didn't answer any of the calls. One of my cousins who was close to me told me that my parents, especially my mom, told everyone that I didn't attend the wedding because I was jealous that my younger sister was getting married while I was still single. My blood boiled on hearing this. Quite unusual of me. I went to Facebook and wrote a detailed post describing how my sister got knocked up by my boyfriend and how my parents are getting them married to cover up everything. I attached my pictures with my ex in the post to prove my point. My phone blew up after that. My parents sent me threatening messages to take down the post. I took it down, but after a week. They said I brought shame to their house. To cover one lie, they said another lie that I made a false allegation out of jealousy because my ex found my sister more attractive and fell in love with her. Could you imagine the level of toxicity? I swore to never see their effing face again in life. That was 2 years ago, and since then I'm no contact with them. I'm in touch with my brother though. He contacted me after that and said sorry for not standing up for me. I told him it was fine. He was 13 then. He told me that my parents had put a fancy wedding for my sister from their savings. They had even helped them settle down in the adjacent block. Mom babysits for her son while she roams about with her friends. Yesterday, my brother called me out of the blue. I was in a meeting, but I rushed out to take it. We talk over chats and hardly on calls, so this has to be urgent. He told me Dad passed away. I was distraught. I hung up the call and took the first flight to my hometown. I came here, but I don't know where to go. My mom had asked everyone not to inform me because I didn't deserve to attend his last rites. She was still holding up the grudge against me. I checked into a hotel because obviously I could not go home to my cruel mother. My brother told me that the funeral date was yet to be decided, but it was mostly tomorrow or the day after. I haven't told anyone that I am here. I don't know if I should visit my house or not. I mean, my family is still bitter about me. Given my situation, what do you guys suggest? Nothing says family values like sweeping scandal under the rug faster than a cheetah on Red Bull. And then there's your mom playing the part of the drama queen, casting you as the villain in her little soap opera fantasy. I mean, seriously, accusing you of jealousy? It's like blaming a firefighter for starting the fire. But hey, kudos to you for dropping that truth bomb on Facebook. Sometimes you gotta fight toxic with toxic, am I right? And as for your parents' threats, well, it sounds like they're more worried about their precious reputation than actually facing the truth. Now about your dad passing away, that's a tough one. On one hand, you probably want to pay your respects and say your final goodbyes. On the other hand, walking back into that viper's nest of a household might not be the healthiest move for your sanity. But hey, you've got your brother on your side, and that's something. Maybe you two can stick together and weather the storm. One dysfunctional family a moment at a time. As for visiting your house, well, let's just say if you do, bring a hazmat suit for all the toxic vibes floating around. But hey, you do you. Just remember, sometimes the best revenge is living well, far away from all that craziness. Update 1. Thanks for all the support. I felt so relieved to talk to you guys on DM. Some of you commented that I was scared that my family would gang up against me, and that's why I was not going. Well, you guys are right. I was apprehensive that they would knock me out. I cannot fight them if they gang up, and obviously, I don't want to put a fight in front of my father's dead body. Somehow, I mustered the courage and told my brother that I was in town. He insisted that I attend the funeral and that he would be there for me if something of that sort happened. I said thanks for the protection, but I think I can manage. I didn't do any wrong that I need to hide. So, I showed up at the funeral. My brother was waiting for me. We hugged each other and cried. My mother and sister gave me looks. My sister yelled at my brother, why did he call me? He yelled back that he was all of us dad and I had the right to attend the funeral. Their point was that if I had sworn to cut them off from my life, then I shouldn't be allowed to attend his funeral. My sister almost chased me out, but my uncle and my brother stood up for me. I saw my ex standing in the corner, holding his son and watching the drama. My dad might not be the best person out there, yet he was my dad, and watching him lifeless was the most emotional moment of my life. I broke down, but no one except my brother was there to console me. I was about to leave after the funeral when my dad's lawyer told me to visit his office the next day for the will reading. I said I'm not interested. Given the past relationship with my family, I wasn't hoping for any good from his will. He said my dad left me a letter, which got me curious, and I decided to stay. The next day, I showed up at the attorney's office with my brother. My mother came charging at me that why was I here and asked me to leave. They called me names and that I was just here for Dad's money. I said I didn't need the money. Dad had left me a letter. I was there to collect it. They can keep the money. Mom said she knew what was in that letter. He wanted to tell you that he was disowning you. He hated you for shaming the family publicly. I cursed myself for showing up just to get humiliated. Thankfully, the attorney came and relieved me of their taunts. He started reading the will which Dad had modified last year. The house in which they lived was always in Mom's name, so she gets to keep it. His savings and insurance money goes to Mom for her survival and the house for retirement. Besides that, he had invested in a trust fund and divided it between 3 of us. He also mentioned the reason behind the division. My sister's son gets 10%. My sister gets 20% because he funded her wedding and paid for their house lease. My brother gets 30% for his university. The remaining 40% comes to me. That was a shocker for everyone, including me. The reason he mentioned was he didn't fund my education. I got a complete scholarship from university. After I got the job, I helped him pay the house mortgage for over 2 years. My sister flipped out that I got double her share. Though my father mentioned the reasons very clearly, she said it was unfair. She repeatedly asked the lawyer if it was the updated one because Dad wanted to disown me. The lawyer said that Dad had left a letter for me which he wanted him to read in front of everyone. The letter read Dad was really proud of me that I was able to make such a good career for myself and that he never had to worry about me. He said he was sorry for not standing up for me and giving in to Mom's pressure and manipulation. He mentioned a few other moments of my childhood and growing up that he cherished. He asked me to take care of my brother. He said he wished to post this letter himself, but he didn't know my address. He hopes to talk to me before I get to read this letter, and he tells me everything in person. I have read that letter at least 100 times after that day, and it still makes me tear up as I write this. My sister and ex left the room midway when the letter was read. My mom remained there and cried. I cried like a toddler hugging my baby brother. I had the return flight in the evening, but my brother insisted I stay. So I've been here for a week now, meeting my brother over brunch and dinner. We just talk and catch up about life and random things. He's finishing high school this year and planning on moving out for grad school. Honestly, I'm worried about him that after I'm gone, my mother and sister may target him for supporting me. But he says now he's grown up to handle any crap they throw. I'm going back tomorrow. I'll update if anything develops. Else, this is the end. Looks like Daddy Dearest had a few secrets up his sleeve, huh? First off, props to you for braving the lion's den and showing up at the funeral. Sounds like your sister was ready to throw you to the wolves faster than you can say inheritance drama. And speaking of drama, that will reading was like something straight out of a movie. Your sister and ex storming out like they just realized they left the oven on? Classic. But hey, looks like your daddy had your back in the end. That letter? Pure gold. It's like he dropped a truth bomb from beyond the grave, setting the record straight and giving you a little piece of closure in the process. And your brother? Sounds like he's got a backbone of steel. Moving out for grad school and standing up to mommy and sis? That's some next level sibling solidarity right there. Update 2. It's not over yet. Looks like my sister and my ex got no chills. So, I came back from my hometown after a week and found a notice in my mailbox. My sister has challenged Dad's will in court, saying that there's a typing mistake by his lawyer. They are claiming that Dad has given her 50% of his assets, but the lawyer has made the mistake. I contacted my dad's lawyer and sent him the notice. He said they could not do anything about it because my dad had signed the will in his senses in front of the attorney and witnesses. Apart from that, Dad had clearly mentioned the reason behind the division, so it's a no-brainer. He said that the judge is going to dismiss the case as soon as he reads the will. That's what happened. The asset gets divided as per the will. The case was closed. I thought we were done here, but no. Emotional manipulation was on the way. Mom called me. She was crying over Dad's death. She said sorry for cutting me out of her life. After she was done shredding her tears, she asked me how I was doing at work and what was new in life. I said work is fine and so is life, regular. She asked if I got the promotion since I have been working for so many years now. I got curious and asked why she wanted to know this. She said she was equally proud of me as my dad that I was excelling in my career and doing so well for myself. I said, and? She muttered, well, you know your sister couldn't complete school and got pregnant at a young age. She couldn't have a career like you, and she's pregnant again. They're surviving on just one source of income. So I was thinking, why don't you be a bigger person and give your share of the asset to her? Well, you can't deny that your dad was being unfair in giving her only 20% while you get double. I stopped her right there. First of all, it's not that she couldn't complete school. It's rather she didn't complete school and dropped out. And you still consider that Dad was unfair when Dad has clearly mentioned the reason for his asset division. I paid the mortgage for 2 years of the house in which you are living. It's not my problem if my sister is surviving on one income. She made that choice. She should have thought about her husband's income before skipping protection for the second child. And yeah, how could we forget about getting knocked up for the first one? My mom lost her mind at this. She was mad that how could I even say these words in front of her? I was like, I just said, your princess did all of this. Why didn't you lose your mind at her? But I see you're still coddling her like an infant. She called me mean and jealous of my sister. She was having a family while I was still single. And that's why I was trying to hurt her financially, because I cannot beat her in any other aspect. I said, sure, whatever you think. I'm done reasoning with you folks. Guess you don't have enough brain to understand my point. Probably that's why you get better with your 6th grader loser daughter. She hung up the phone saying I was spitting poison and that I'm still that vindictive witch that I was 2 years ago. Do you guys think I should give up my inheritance just because my sister is mindlessly expanding her family without a financial planning? Looks like the circus tent's still standing and the clowns are still juggling their drama balls. First off, kudos for holding your ground against the emotional manipulation brigade. Your sister dropping out of school and popping out babies like a Pez dispenser doesn't exactly qualify as a resume for the Fortune 500, does it? And Mom's little guilt trip? Classic. Why don't you be the bigger person and hand over your share? Yeah, because nothing screams fairness like rewarding irresponsible life choices with a big fat inheritance check, right? But hey, let's not forget the real gem here. Jealous of your sister because she's married and you're single? That's like saying you're jealous of someone because they got food poisoning and you didn't. Talk about a messed up in comparison. So, should you give up your inheritance? Heck no. You earned that fair and square. Your sister's financial misadventure shouldn't be your burden to bear. Stick to your guns, keep that inheritance, and let the circus continue without you. Update 3. Here's the new update. Almost a month after the last phone call with Mom, one morning I was leaving for work when I saw my car tires were being slashed. I thought my neighbor's child pulled this prank, so I hailed a taxi and went to work. Meanwhile, I called the car service company to get the tires fixed. They fixed it and sent me the pictures. However, when I came back in the evening, I saw the tires were slashed again, and my car was painted Piggy. I saw the other cars parked nearby, and all of them looked fine. It cannot be a coincidence that the children were targeting my car unless I did something wrong with them. I don't remember having any encounters with any children in the neighborhood. I went upstairs to find a note in my mailbox. Give me my share or else I'm going to make you suffer every day. I immediately called my lawyer and told them about the incident. He asked me to change the locks of my house, install a camera outside my apartment, and check the footage of the camera installed in the basement. I informed the chairman of the apartment and asked him for the camera footage. I reviewed it. I saw a woman wearing a long, oversized coat and a big hat entering the basement in the early hours of the morning, but unfortunately, nothing else got captured because the camera angle didn't cover the area where my car was parked. The same woman again entered the basement in the late afternoon, but there was a man with her with his face fully covered. I knew it was my sister and my ex. Since I didn't have any concrete evidence against them, I could not report them. 2 days later, I came home to find someone had broken into my house through the window. It has to be my loser ex because my pregnant sister cannot climb on someone's window to break open mine. Nothing was stolen, but he brought down the house to ruins. The curtains were pulled down, the pillows were torn open, my clothes were cut down like confetti, and the china sets were broken into dust. I cannot explain how terrible I felt. It was not about the money. My house was insured, but you understand the hatred they had for me. This called for a police complaint. The cops came and made a note of everything. They asked if I doubted anyone. I told them about the car incident, the note in the mailbox, and my history with my sister regarding my inheritance. The odds worked slightly in her favor because she was pregnant. It took a lot of effort and evidence to prove it was her because the camera didn't capture her face. Based on the circumstantial evidence, like the note regarding the asset share and her presence in the town when this happened, their previous charges case of challenging Dad's will, everything put together built a case against her. However, the cops let her go with paying the fine and threatened her not to bother me again. She confessed that she was the one who did everything and not her husband. She did it because she was envious of me regarding Dad's unequal division of assets, and besides all that, she was hormonal, so she couldn't control her rage. She had to assure the cops in writing that she would never bother me again. I accepted it because I'm tired of all this. I don't have just this one thing in life. I have a career. I have a life. But I threatened that if this repeated, I'm going to go nuclear on her. My brother told me that he heard Mom talking to my sister and telling her that she was smart in taking everything on herself because her husband would have incurred a heftier fine and maybe some prison time, who knows. I can't believe they would do this to me. It hurts to think that I never did anything wrong to them, yet I'm getting this kind of treatment. Makes me wonder if there really is any karma. If yes, then how do these kind of people are able to escape that? Yikes. Nothing says justice served like a stern warning and a gentle tap on the wrist. As for karma, well, who knows? Maybe it's just taking a smoke break, sipping a cocktail on a beach somewhere, waiting for the right moment to come crashing down like a cosmic wrecking ball. In the meantime, keep your locks changed, your camera rolling, and your sense of humor intact. After all, when life hands you slashed tires and broken windows, sometimes all you can do is laugh, preferably while sipping a stiff drink and watching from a safe distance. What would you do? Give OP some of your best advice in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today in the R Lounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you soon, and don't forget to push in your chair.